Hey guys, HDV here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got quite a few things to go over. We have some new release date hints for Pokemon Legends ZA, and as well as that we have a pretty big rumor to go over as well about the upcoming 2025 game. So a lot of things to take a look at. If you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below. It's trying to 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, this post has been making the rounds on Twitter quite a lot recently. It was posted by this Pokemon Memo account. It's quite a big account, to be fair, over 50,000 followers. And obviously it's been translated, but it says Pokemon Legends ZA to be released after February 2025. And then it says, apparently its development is slower than Pokemon Legends Arceus. So obviously, you know, if the game is to get released after February 2025 next year, then that means that obviously the Pokemon Presents for the Pokemon Day in February next year would still be about Pokemon Legends ZA, which of course is what Riddler-Ku has said and stuff like that. Whereas if it was obviously released in January next year, then we, like Legends Arceus was, and obviously we'd get a Pokemon Day that would go maybe over like Generation 10 or something like that. And that's just kind of like the general consensus right now. Like, we've got Riddler-Ku saying certain things, we've got other kind of sources saying other things, but then we obviously had this that's come out, and a lot of people have been taking this as like definite information, that this is like 100% like concrete, legitimate information. We have Focus Tutami here saying a lot of people are misunderstanding this as Pokemon ZA will be released in February, which the tweet is saying that the game is going to be released sometime after February, which we already know. It's important to note that this account is not related officially to Nintendo and Game Freak, and is instead a news and speculation account. In the actual linked article, they even mention Riddler-Ku, something which would not be allowed if there was any official relationship. So this tweet is not official information. It's a good source to seeing what's going on in the Japanese fan community as far as speculation and news coverage. So that's kind of what this is about. They're basically just kind of reiterating what Riddler-Ku has already said about the kind of release window for Pokemon Legends ZA, which is of course either after April or August, because he said after A, but it's going to be before November, so it's kind of like that sweet spot, which obviously we know about from what he's recently said and stuff. We also have Soul Silver talking about this as well, and this is kind of what this kind of, I guess, page is kind of referencing and stuff. But we have Soul Silver saying, just so everyone knows, the source of this idea is Riddler-Ku, which I believe 99%, but others may not believe and not consider this as a confirmed piece of information. Obviously, it's not confirmed yet. Riddler-Ku has an interesting track record as of late. Before, whatever he said used to be just, I guess, concrete information, like, because he just leaked so much stuff about Generation 9. But obviously recently it's not been the same, so that's why a lot of people aren't believing him now. That's why a lot of people have lost respect for him, etc, etc. I say idea because this is what the reporter interpreted Riddler-Ku's tweets to mean, but I think it's a correct interpretation in this case because it's common sense at this point. But we should always consider that we have to interpret Riddler-Ku's post unless he says something directly. So in Riddler-Ku's latest Pokemon Legends ZA post, he purposely compares where Pokemon Legends ZA's development progression is it compared to where Pokemon Legends Arceus development progression was at around this similar point in their overall development. Since he has seemingly not heard anything big from his sources about the game right now, it almost likely means that debugging hasn't begun yet, which gives us a loose timeline of when we can expect this game, and that looks very much like not early 2025. Hopefully that helps explains the situation a little bit there. So yeah, like I say, early 2025 just seems to be off the cards now. Even though Legends Arceus was released in January, whenever that was, 2022, whatever, we got that information relatively early. Like, we got, when that was originally announced, it said like early 2020, whatever it was. Whereas for Legends ZA, it just says releasing simultaneously worldwide 2025. It doesn't look like it's going to be released early. The Pokemon Presents next Pokemon Day is probably still going to be about Pokemon Legends ZA, and then yeah, it might get revealed at a random time. You know, I don't think it's going to get revealed released in November. We've got Riddler-Ku that said it's not going to get released in November. It's getting released after April or August, but before November. So like, that's the kind of time frame that we're not really used to seeing Pokemon games coming out in. You know, they're usually dropped in around November times, obviously the Christmas sales and stuff like that. But with the Switch 2 and everything like that, like maybe they dropped the game for the Switch 1 in, let's say, June, July, and then they drop it again for the Switch 2 maybe around November time if the Switch 2 comes out like summerish time, because then it can be like a still affecting the sales and still getting the kind of Christmas sales and stuff, but obviously it's a new kind of version of the game and a new edition of it for the Nintendo Switch 2, for all the people that have bought the Nintendo Switch 2. So maybe that's something they do as well, and then they can technically, I guess, release 2 things next year, even though it's the same game. I mean, Pokemon always release 2 of the same thing, you know, whenever they do the version differences and stuff, like Diamond and Pearl. Like, it's the same game, it's just a tiny bit different. So, you know, why would it be any different this year? But that's kind of what they're kind of referencing with this post. It's just this has been popping up all over the place, and people have been taking this to mean that it is going to be released in February. That's not what it means. And as well as that, it kind of just means that, yeah, it's not going to get released early 2025. It is going to be probably sometime in the summer next year. So, again, we could be, like, a year away from the game still. Like, that's why we kind of hopefully in the next big trailer, whether that's going to be presents next month or something like that, we do get more of an idea. Like, it might say middle 2025 or, you know, late 2025, as long as we get some sort of idea. Anyway, though, that's all that. I wanted to finish today's video off with a pretty big rumor to go over as well. This was posted on 4chan on the 20th of July. It's titled Legend ZA Story Details, and it's got 2 parts to it. Again, this was posted on 4chan, so as always, take it with a massive grain of salt. Most likely going to be false, but let's see what they say. So, 1 out of 2. So, here's what you can expect in the first hour of the game. So, this is apparently a person that has played the first hour of the game or knows about the first hour of the game, and they're giving us that information right now. Don't know how they would have done that. Like, I don't even think playtesting would have started yet. There must be some sort of, I guess, source that has worked on the game or something. But again, it's probably fake. Let's just see what they say. The player characters are ancestors to Clem and Serena, who join the redevelopment team to a mine where they are extracting resources to develop Lumiose City. So that might be like the Paris Catacombs. That might be this like mine situation. It makes the most sense. That would be a place where potentially, and if it is a mine as well, obviously it's going to have a lot of resources, which they would need to redevelop the city and everything like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be very much a back and forth situation. Like, you go to, if this was the case, you'd have to go to the catacombs, and you'd get your resources, go back, you'd sort out what you need the resources for, then you go back to the mines and stuff like that, which I hope isn't the case. I don't want the game just to solely take place like underground. I just don't think the scenery would be that good and everything like that. I'd much rather the kind of city have outskirts and stuff. Both would be even better if we had like the sort of mine system, and then we also had the outskirts as well, because it just allows more kind of places to explore and stuff like that. We'll have to see what they end up going with. Then says the first mission involves searching for a lost Machop in the mine where the player stumbles upon a hole. Which, yeah, I mean, that could be something that we see. We've had quite a few quests like that in Legends Arceus, where you have to go and do certain things or whatnot. I think there's like the Alone and Vulpix quest and stuff. We have to go and find all those. So there's quests like that in Legends Arceus, and I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that in Legends ZA, especially because I think there's going to be a lot of quests in this game. You know, if the actual kind of location isn't that explorable, then there's going to have to be a lot of NPCs giving you quests like all the time. Like, maybe there's daily quests and stuff that you can get that refresh every 24 hours or something like that. It then says, unfortunately, the player trips and falls inside it, but lands safely where they find the Machop, and the objective is searching for a way out. So the Machop would basically be following you, and you're trying to find a way out of the mines, which, yeah, I mean, it sounds like your standard Pokemon quest, really. It sounds like something that you could easily see happening. The player and the Machop navigate through a cave-like structure until they hear a growl from the distance. In the dark, there is a large figure with red glowing eyes which steps into the light, revealing to be an Alpha Pangoro. The main objective now is to escape the Alpha Pangoro. So obviously this person is just kind of detailing what's happening in this first mission. They don't talk about the starters or anything like that. They just go straight into the first mission. I'm assuming we have a Pokemon at this point. Or maybe we use the Machop to fight the Pangoro. Very unlikely. But yeah, that's apparently the first mission. You have to constantly try and find your way out of this cave-like structure. However, the Machop trips and is about to be attacked by the Alpha Pangoro until the player jumps in the way and gets struck. Pangoro is about to finish the player off until it is attacked by a Noivern, which we see the outcome of the fight. The player, before we see the outcome of the fight, the player blacks out. So I don't know why a Noivern would be like underground. It's a flying type. Yeah, that's apparently the way it goes. Well, I really don't believe this already, but either way, it goes on to say the player then wakes up in a nursing room where they are treated by a doctor that appears to be an ancestor of Miriam from Scarlet and Violet. I mean, there might be Generation 9 kind of character references and ancestry and all that jazz going on, just simply because the two regions do basically border each other. So yeah, I would definitely expect to see some sort of Generation 9 kind of, yeah, I guess ancestors or whatever. From there, the player is greeted by the Professor, the female ancestor Sycamore, the King of Kalos, Lysander's ancestor, and a new character, Tobji. The king congrats you for the discovery of the underground, which contains materials necessary to rebuild Lumiose, and assigns you as head of the effort to go underground and collect resources, much to Tobji's frustration. So, yeah, so you're just some random guy, you tripped and fell into some sort of hole, you save him a chop, and then the king's like, yeah, you're just the kind of guy that we need to just lead this whole redevelopment system. I mean, it's got Pokemon written all over it, but yeah, it's super dumb. So Tobji is the king's second in command and the one in charge of the redevelopment of Lumiose, and the one who saved you from the Alpha Pangoro. He serves as your main rival. He also has a love-hate relationship with the Professor and vice versa. Then goes on to say, after given the assignment by the king, the Professor gives the player the choice of starters, either Snivy, Scorbunny, or Piplup. So that would be before you have your starter. So you're just kind of chilling. Yeah, it just says you join the redevelopment team, so you don't have a Pokemon, which would seem unlikely anyway. I feel like if you were joining a redevelopment team going underground into this mine, you'd probably have a Pokemon. But either way, you don't, apparently. So you trip and fall, you save them a chop, and then the Professor gives you a choice of Snivy, Scorbunny, and Piplup. So that's the first mission, apparently. That's how you get your start, everything like that. Other tidbits of information. So Emmett from Pokemon Black and White in the game, looking scruffy with memory loss, and is heavily implied that Hooper brought him to Kalos. Speaking of Hooper, after meeting Emma, Hooper rings will show up around the map, similarly to the distortions in Legends Arceus, which allow you to get Pokemon normally not obtainable elsewhere in the game, including legendaries like Mewtwo and Rayquaza. I feel like that would be post-game stuff, though. I don't think we'd be getting Rayquaza and Mewtwo like relatively early on in the game. It just doesn't really make too much sense. I mean, for Pokemon like Mewtwo, for Pokemon like the fossils and stuff, there seemingly will have to be some sort of distortion situation going on, because it just doesn't make sense for them to exist in this time frame if it is set in the past. So yeah, there would have to be some sort of like Hooper intrusion into that. But Pokemon like Rayquaza could easily appear. I don't know why that would be in a time-space distortion. Character customization is in the game. And will feature 2 sets, one for the males and one for the females. At the start, you'll only have access to raggy-looking clothes, but as you renovate the city, you unlock more fancy clothes. There is no cross-dressing. I don't know why they would go back to like no cross-dressing when we've just had it in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and stuff like that. I don't really know why they would really do that. There is a side quest involving a girl resembling the Ghost Girl from X and Y, who is looking for her lost boyfriend. On your first encounter, she'll mistake you for her boyfriend until she realizes who you are and will say, no, you're not the one. So that would be, I guess, so that would be the idea behind the Ghost Girl, which I think is a pretty subpar way for that story to pan out. I honestly think that we will get the backstory of the Ghost Girl in this game, and I really hope we do. But for it just to be, like, mistaking you for the boyfriend just sounds super dumb and really anticlimactic. You know, the Ghost Girl has appeared in multiple games. You know, she obviously appeared in the Professor's kind of tower. She appeared in the background of the fight with Phoebe, I believe, in Pokemon Auras, in the Elite Four. And she's appeared in other locations as well. And just to have it about being a boyfriend or whatever would be a bit subpar. The next trailer will be in the August Presents, which will show you off the gameplay, the starters, and the new Megas, including Mega Flygon. And this is the hype moment of the trailer, and then the trailer ends. So, yeah, I mean, I still personally think the next trailer is only going to show the starters and a bit of gameplay. I don't think we're going to get any new Mega Evolutions in the next trailer. Again, the game's probably not coming out until, you know, like a year from now. Let's say, like, August 2025. You know, why would they show a new Mega Evolution this early? They can show things that we already kind of are expecting to see, like starters and stuff, because they're going to need to do that for, like, merchandise. But with Mega Evolution, that's like arrows in the quiver, and you don't want to run out of their arrows before the game's even out. So, then goes on to say, someone spreading misinformation, don't listen to them. I mean, that's just whatever. I mean, if you're saying stuff like that, you're already kind of making yourself sound super illegitimate and stuff like that. Lastly, the game is coming out mid-2025 for the Switch 1, and is also coming to the Switch 2 as a launch title alongside Metroid Prime 4 and a yet-to-be-announced Mario game. I mean, we are expecting some sort of open-world Mario game to drop with the Switch 2. Metroid Prime 4 also makes sense as well. So, yeah, I mean, this game could very well come to the Switch 2 as well. And like I said earlier, it could come out, you know, summerish time on the Switch 1, and then it could come out you know, a little bit later in the year for the Switch 2. But all in all, I'm not really believing this rumor. I feel like you wouldn't know this much information already about like the first mission and stuff. I feel like, even though that's probably already been confirmed and done and stuff, but I just don't know. Unless this source is literally actively working on the game, I don't know how they would know that information. So yeah, I'm definitely calling BS on that. And then yeah, that's just like I said, a couple more updates and stuff regarding these tweets that have been going around. People have been like asking me about it and stuff like that. So just wanted to quickly go over that. But either way, if you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. It does really help out. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts on everything we covered? Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time,